I wanted to be a chef ever since I was little. I remember banging on pots and pans in the kitchen. You know, as I got a little older, 10, 12 years old, I used to watch great chefs on public television instead of watching cartoons. I was just fascinated by cooking, and I always was fascinated with the dessert segment. So I kind of knew early on that that's where I would end up in the cooking world, would be on the sweet side. Being the pastry chef at the American was actually somewhat of a dream. The American restaurant had such a stellar reputation for turning out James Beard Award winners, famous chefs, you know, that have gone on all over the country and our city. The American was where the chocolate concept was conceived. You know, we used to make chocolates to send out at the end of the meal with the check as a thank you. And it became part of my job that I really loved, really enjoyed working with the different flavors. When customers started asking if they could buy the chocolates, that's kind of really where the light bulb went off and the concept for Christopher Elbow Chocolates was born. I jumped into this with basically zero money, you know, on a shoestring, not really understanding production. You know, I had access to a little kitchen in a room above a restaurant down on the Crossroads, and we just got started the only way we knew how and figured things out along the way. We're making chocolates the same way they've been made in Europe for hundreds of years. Most of the really colorful bonbons that we make, they start with a set of molds that we create that have the cavities or the shapes in them. And the very first step is actually the painting process. A lot of people think we make the chocolates and paint them at the end, but we actually paint the molds first. And we do that for a couple of reasons. The colored cocoa butter that we use as our paint, if you will, has a better shine to it when it's against something shiny. It stays on the chocolate. If you paint them afterwards, it kind of comes off. From there, we create the shell, which we would pour melted and tempered chocolate in, turn it upside down and let it drip out, and then what's left behind will become the shell of the chocolate. At that point, they're ready to be filled with whatever we're going to fill in them. We like to use really soft caramels that are infused with herbs or spices or fruits. Sometimes we do multi-layers where we do nuts and caramel or nuts and a ganache. And then at that point, it needs to set overnight. These chocolates take at least 2 days to make. And then the next day we'll be able to seal them up and turn them out, and they'll be ready to either go out into the chocolate shop or into a box for somebody. We're really sticking to kind of tried and true production techniques, adding our own modern update on it with the designs and the color. Our flavors are really simple. Typically it's 1, maybe 2 flavor components. You know, we don't put 6 or 7 things in it. Those just get lost and end up masking the flavor of the chocolate. We kind of have that philosophy of a chef who has a good piece of fish, for instance. Don't mess it up. You know, the flavor's already there. You know, do just enough to make it sing. There's not really a lot of challenges into making good fruit flavor. What we found over the years that works right from the beginning was you use real fruit as opposed to flavorings. And that's, I think, one thing that's really set us apart. We want you to taste like you just went out to the garden and picked some mint off the plant and put it in your mouth. One of our goals in this project of making single origin craft chocolates is to bring a little bit of awareness about where this product comes from. Cacao really is the correct term for the fruit. It's a terribly challenging crop to grow. It has this whole agricultural journey that is really fascinating, and this is thousands of year old history behind it as well. The great thing about single origin chocolate is that we're not adding any other flavor to it. We're just uncovering the natural beauty of what's there and letting that origin speak for itself. I think the kind of chocolate we were making was very new, you know, using the bright colors and kind of the unique approach to flavors. So we felt like what was happening in the Crossroads with all the artists and galleries, that there was kind of a direct correlation between what they were doing and what we were doing. We very much felt like we fit into that theme and resonated with that kind of philosophy, which is why it made sense for us to be in this neighborhood. Kansas City is excited that we're here. I mean, they've been very supportive from day one that we've opened, and we feel like we belong downtown now. I very much consider craft chocolates art. I mean, we're using airbrushes and paint guns and, things that other artists might incorporate into their paintings. Chocolate is our medium. Colored cocoa butter is our paint. It's very much an art form.